And we'll do it live. We'll do it live. So I was watching yesterday on the news. They had a bunch of ICE raids in Los Angeles, and you have ICE going in there and raiding and basically raiding all these uh, organizations or businesses or industrial parks areas where they've imported a lot of foreign migrants to come in and take the jobs. And then who's opposing it? Who's opposing it is this group called the SEIU, the Service Employees International Union. I believe that's what it's called. Service Employees International Union, right? Is that what it is? The SEIU is what? Is that international? Yeah, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. The Service Employees International Union is a labor union representing almost 1.9 million workers in over 100 occupations in the United States and Canada. It's based in Washington, D.C., and it's affiliated with the AFL-CIO, some Canadian labor organizations, and other international groups. And it's backed by the Vatican, by the Pope, by the Roman Catholic Church Vatican, particularly the Vatican. And this is how they control politics in California and in Canada and all across America, is through the SEIU, through the unions, right? Now, do you think that these unions care about your Bill of Rights? You think they care about your Second Amendment? Do you think they care about your history? You think the SEIU, this international union, cares about the history of America and the history of the white race in particular? They don't. They don't at all. That's why it's been the SEIU that has been taking down these statues all across America and fighting against the white race specifically. That's why they've been taking down all the Confederate monuments all across America. It's the SEIU backed by the Roman Catholic Church, by the Vatican. And so I was looking around at like, okay, well, then we need an organization that protects American workers because we don't have one. This is an international union backed by the Pope. And while all my friends and stuff, I got people all over Facebook, they've all seen the Jews now. It's all the Jews. The Jews are behind everything. Well, they're not. They're not behind everything. The Pope is actually the one doing all, like every day, the guy that's out there like in your face is actually the Roman Catholic Church and the Pope. And they're bringing in mass migration from foreign countries, both in America and in Europe, to kill you and to replace you and to take your jobs in what's called the Kalergi Plan. And everybody thought it was the Jews behind it, but it's actually the Pope. It's actually the Pope. It's actually the Roman Catholic Church behind it. They're the ones doing it. And they do work with Jewish groups, but it's the Vatican. It's the Vatican. And so the only thing I can say, so I went to look for American propaganda, like American worker propaganda. But that's why when you watch the front of this video, it's got like a German one from the 1930s, right? It's like a German National Socialist, says Arbeiter, means worker. And that's really, I didn't spend a lot of time looking for one, but that's about all I could find. You know why? Because there is no American worker propaganda that's not that from that period of time, that's not connected to the Roman Catholic Church, which is the group that overthrew the white race and has completely eradicated the white race in all across Los Angeles and much of California, and much of the country is being. It's not that they're doing it on accident. They're doing it systematically and on purpose. Like it's a knowing program to attack white people by the Roman Catholic Church because they want to conquer this area and they've wanted to conquer it. See, that's what they've been doing since they founded it in 1790. Since they founded DC in 1790, they've been trying to find ways to overcome the people that were basically stole it from them, which was the British. Okay, the British and the Church of England stole North America from the Roman Catholic Church, and they've been trying to find ways to get it back ever since. And so they in the 1800s, it was bringing in German and Irish immigrants because a lot of them were Catholic, and then now it's bringing in people from all over the world. They started with bringing in people from, well, they do all kinds of things. Part of it was bringing African Americans from the South and spreading them into the West and bringing them into California, which previously didn't have any kind of welfare thing set up until you had Johnson. Johnson set up this whole Great Society thing where he put welfare stuff all over Los Angeles to bring in blacks who were from the South so that they could come live out here and then change the demographics out here. So it's been a constant effort to change the demographics. And Johnson wasn't Catholic. He's just an idiot. He's just stupid. The Democrat Party, ever since the end of the Civil War, has been run by this cabal that's connected to the Roman Catholic Church. And they just, and the people running it are idiots. And that's why we're in this situation. So let me just explain this to you. It's the Roman Catholic Church that overthrew that got rid of all the Confederate monuments and broke everything down and smashed everything up and backed BLM and backed Antifa to come out and kill you, right? It's the Roman Catholic Church. It's not the Jews. The Jews are doing all kinds of stuff, and the Jews are working with them because the Jews are doing their own thing. Like the Jews are doing the anti-Semitism laws, and the Jews are doing, if you insult a Zionist, you go to prison. I see all that. I know exactly what they're doing. It's terrible. It's terrible, but that's part of it. But they're not like that's part of it, and they are working with the Vatican. But the Vatican has its agenda, and its agenda is migrants taking the jobs, getting rid of your American way of life, getting rid of your history, getting rid of your Confederate statues, getting rid of all of it and replacing with this other populations and getting them all the lawyers so they can lawyer up and fight back. That's the whole Vatican program, right? That's their Vatican program. So what I'm saying is I'm like trying to sit here trying to find ways to fix this, right? So one thing I told you was, well, let's talk about this. So this would be a workers' union that's for Americans. So it's an American workers' union. So it's a workers' union, and this is the only one that we're going to support. This is the other thing I realized is since I was a child, I've been encountering these unions, and it's like that's why I was trying to figure out like who's the secret society that runs all this, because you're at the age of 5, if your parents are stupid, they dump you off at a public school, at a kindergarten with a public school run by a union. Who runs the union? Who runs the union and the schools? Let's see, Irvine Public School Union. Let's just take a look. What's the name of this stupid union? I don't know. This might be the one, but I mean, it could have changed too. California School Employees Association. Let's see. Irvine Teachers Union. Anyway, I don't want to get off on this too far, but so okay, let me give you another example. So when I started looking into, so at first I thought, well, it must be the Freemasons. I couldn't see the Roman Catholics. I could see the union, right? It's like, okay, you've got this union. And so then I said, well, my friend Jordan Maxwell used to talk about the Masons, and then he talked about the Vatican and the Masons, and I didn't know why he was talking about the Masons and the Vatican because they're two different things, right? They are, except for the Vatican took over Freemasonry, which is why Freemasonry is basically just an instrument of the Pope at this time. It's not an Enlightenment movement anymore, unfortunately. It was, I believe, at one time. Anyway, let me tell you about this thing with the Scottish Rite Freemasonry. So the Scottish Rite Freemasonry, on their application form, which I've seen, even though I wasn't applying, I've read one. The one that's in Orange County, California, the Scottish Rite application form says that you must support public education, which means the unions. So there's something about that where it's like you cannot become a Scottish Rite Freemason without supporting the public school system. That's in their contract. In the contract, of the Scottish Rite 30 is it what the Scottish Rite Mason degree. In order to do that, in the contract, it says you have to be a supporter of public education. Is why? Why? What's enlightened? What about that is enlightened? What about that is enlightenment? You see how it got corrupted right there. That is a big red flag. That is a big red flag. In fact, I'm going to call the Scottish Rite and ask them. Maybe I should call them right now. Maybe I will. But listen, that's a red flag, because isn't your movement about enlightenment and being enlightened and following the light, which is the light of God, which is, see, there's no enlightenment outside of the truth. There's no what makes public education enlightened if it's run by the Roman Catholic Church and the Vatican and a bunch of perverts, a bunch of I don't want to say what kind of perverts they are, because it's too gross, dude. They're all kinds of perverts. But why would I support that? Why would I need to support that to become more enlightened and be part of an enlightenment organization? So this is my big beef, dude. I'm breaking this down into sections. Number one, you need an American Workers Union, number one. And then if you've got this organization like the Scottish Rite, which was set up to be an enlightenment group, and now they're saying you have to support public education, which means you support the teachers unions. So that doesn't work. So what we need is we need a Church of America. This is where the founding fathers went wrong. You have to establish a Church of America based on the light. Based on the light, or based on the logos. It's either the logos or the light, or both. Because in the theory, the logos is the light. Reason rooted in truth, at least. Reason rooted in truth is the light. If you have reason, you can have a whole system of logic, which is not based in truth. So it's not the light. You see how that works? So using the term logos works as long as you modify it with reason rooted in truth. And the truth is subjective, and so it's subjective and objective. Okay, you can see things with your eyes and you can understand things, and so it's both subject and objective. But truth can only be, the good thing about the truth as a primary concept for any religious system or philosophical system is that you can't impose the truth on someone, because they have to actually believe that it's true. So there's a buffer there against totalitarianism. So as far as philosophically, that's a sound philosophical order. So the Church of America, number one. Number two, an American Workers Union to combat and protect against the international unions run by the Pope, like the SEIU. So now you're going to have a workers union, and like I was saying, I might change the thumbnail to a Confederate one, because I don't know, I like because it was the SEIU that broke down the Confederate monuments. The SEIU did that, and all their agents throughout the government working for the Pope. Their agents working for the Pope broke down all of our Confederate monuments across California. And that doesn't mean I support slavery, because I don't. I don't support slavery. No, I've never supported slavery. No one in my has nothing to do with slavery, honestly. I mean, slavery may have been part of the war, the part of the argument or whatever. It has nothing to do with, has nothing to do with the fact that the men, well, I don't even want to go into it. That's why we need to separate the races, because there's no arguing with stuff about with other races about our history and about our people. You just can't do it. And I'll give you an example. I was just on Facebook, right? And there's this guy, and what was the argument? It was a really good argument, because this is what I'm talking about. So they're talking about how I'm on some Facebook group where we argue about stuff. And one's about science versus the Bible. And I'm always telling people, dude, The Bible's not a science book. You're not supposed to like look at it and try and figure out if it's scientifically accurate. It's a book of allegories about the sun going through the calendar. But how do I can say that till I'm blue in the face and people don't understand what I'm talking about. It's also about the logos, which is the word of God, which is the sun going through the calendar as an allegory or metaphor. But anyway, so there's these guys on there, and this one guy said, talking about anti-vaxxers and how Christians are anti-vaxxers and flat earthers. Well, I'm not a flat earther, but I'm definitely anti injecting yourself with strange stuff invented by the Jesuits over at the CDC and the World Health Organization. And so I said, I told him the UN death shots that killed millions were perpetrated by the RCC, because he was saying that the Christians are anti-vax. I'm like, so I'm telling him, dude, it's the Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican, that invested in and promoted and distributed and all those deadly shots. They did all that. And so there's a guy, normal response, because people are aware of the Jewish mafia now. So he says they were Zionist Jews. Correction. He's correcting me, right? Oh, they were Jews. So I get into a little discussion with this guy. He's from Tennessee. He's a nice guy, right? And they say, no, the Pope is Catholic. And I post a picture of the Pope with a quote from the Pope about how we need to get free vaccines to everybody. And you got to understand, by free vaccines means the government's going to subsidize it so that the Pope and the Vatican gets all their money, right? That they invest the money and they do this whole thing, and then the government gives them $1 trillion. So it's like a perfect little business, right? So I tell this guy, I say the Pope is Roman Catholic. And then I also say the pharmaceutical business is how the Roman Catholic Church stays in business. When I post a picture of Tedros and this other guy from the World Health Organization. And I post a picture of Anthony Fauci, Dr. Fauci at Georgetown University. And so I get this guy, Ki Chan, and he's like, oh, look, anti-vaxxer nonsense. And I'm just like, here we go, right? Here's this guy that shows up into my feed. I'm arguing with this guy from Tennessee about, the subject. And here comes this Chinese guy. Oh, you're an anti-vaxxer. Okay, well, you're Chinese. Why are you talking to me about this? You see, what I'm like, I care about Chinese people. I don't want them to all die and get poisoned. But honestly, right now, I'm talking to my own people here. Okay. And you're not part of it. If you're Chinese, you're not white, and you're not. See, Chinese people aren't concerned about the future of the white race. Okay, they're just not. It's not like a big thing they're worried about. So when I see a Chinese guy jump into my conversation and tell me that I'm a stupid anti-vaxxer, it's like, dude, well, you're Chinese. Why are you even talking to me about this? This has nothing to do with you. I'm talking to this other guy from Nashville, and we're talking about who's running this cabal to kill us. And here you come. Oh, you're an anti-vaxxer. Good. Why are you talking to me at all? Why are you even coming? Why are you saying anything to me? You see what I mean? Number one. Number two, if you came up to me in real life and started pushing your vaccine on me, you better not have a syringe in your hand. Okay. Otherwise, I'm going to defend myself, because I'm very easily frightened. And easily frightened people who fear for their lives do dramatic things. Let's just put it that way. I'm very easily frightened, very easily. It doesn't take much to startle me. Okay, so don't walk up to me with your vaccine stuff, because I'm very frightened, and I'm very afraid of syringes. And so when I see a syringe, I just think you're trying to kill me. And what do people who think they're being murdered do? What do they do? What do you do when you think people are trying to kill you? What do you do? Well, you never know what's going to happen. It could be very dramatic. So I'm just saying, back the fuck up. Anyway, so this guy's trying to talk to me, and I'm like, dude. So I'm talking to this other guy. This other guy's from Nashville, and I say, he's like, so I tell him that it's the Roman Catholic Church that rolled out that whole vaccine thing, right? And he says the RCC is part of it, but he says it's controlled by Jews. So here's another. this is a good argument that we need to have. So here's another guy. He thinks that the Roman Catholic Church is controlled by Jews. I keep running into these people. They think that the Roman Catholic Church is run by everybody at the Roman Catholic Church. They've all been tricked by the Jews. Every single one of them. The Pope is tricked by the Jews, and Sean Hannity's tricked by everybody. The Jews have tricked everybody. I just don't believe that. I think that's Roman propaganda. So I tell them that, right? But then this other guy, I got to deal with this other Asian guy. I go, are you Asian? I'm not in anything with Asians. And then he's like, oh, you're a racist. It's like, okay, but why are you talking to me, bro? Okay, and then he's like, he's still going. Okay, I don't care what happens to whatever. Go ahead and take your shots, bro. Go ahead and take your shots. Go ahead and take the vaccine. See, that's the other thing. It's not just because he's Asian. I don't want Asians to take vaccines and die. But don't come at me and tell me I'm racist and then I'm an idiot. You're going to argue with me. Well, just go take it. Go take it. And I've said this to all the white people too that were pushing the vaccine. Most of them were hardcore sodomites. I noticed a lot of them were British sodomites. And I would say, bro, I will drive you to the pharmacy and literally inject it into you. That's how much. See, I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm anti being murdered, right? If you want to take the vaccine or you want to push the vaccine, right? Let's say you want to push it. You're like, I love the vaccine. It's great. Good. I'll pick you up and I'll drive you to the pharmacy where they distribute the vaccines and I will take it out of the thing and inject it into you. You see what I mean? Because I'm not against vaccines. I'm not against the coronavirus vaccine. I'm against giving it to people that I care about. You see the difference? You see the difference? I'm against giving it to people that I love and want to survive. And if you're some guy, if you're Dr. Fauci or you're some of these other people in the media that just push and push and push, I'm not against you taking it. I want you to take it. I will literally inject it into your arm if you want me to. If you ask me to, I would. So yeah. So anyway, that's another topic. But this topic, and tell me what you think since you're listening. Good morning. What do you think about this idea that I have about an American workers union? Because I'm watching the did you see the SEIU is out there protesting the ICE raids, right? So finally we have a government that cares enough about the American people to send federal agents into Los Angeles to get people that are working here illegally. Okay, so those people are working here illegally, and then I'm looking at the SEIU, and I go on their website, and they're allied with the Pope, and so I'm thinking, here we go, the Pope is working with the SEIU because I believe, this is my personal belief, is that that's how they control these unions, which control Sacramento. So they're controlling Sacramento, they're controlling Minneapolis, they're controlling these states, they're controlling Washington D.C. through these unions that are backed by the Pope. So then what I'm saying is we should have a workers' union for the American workers that is not backed by the Pope. And this would replace all these international unions. Because if you just say, well, we're going to get rid of all the unions, there's some people in America that are like, oh, we can't get rid of the unions. I'm part of a union. I need to, it helps me pay the bills, right? Okay, well, then join an American workers' union. And we're not connected to the Pope. And you have to have loyalty to America. Because the Pope has zero loyalty to the U.S. Constitution like the Bill of Rights that the founding fathers wrote up, which says you can have guns. You think the Pope likes that? No, the Vatican actively lobbies against your right to own firearms, right? All this anti-firearm legislation comes from the Pope and the Vatican and the unions that he controls. All the open borders stuff comes from the Vatican and the Pope and the unions he controls. All of the degeneracy, because you think of it this way. I know a lot of good Catholics that are against things like abortion and gay marriage and stuff, but all the unions that are backing all the candidates that the Pope supports, they're the ones implementing all that. That's the big scam. That's the big confidence trick. So, if you have these unions that are run by a foreign group, in a foreign country with zero allegiance, one, to the American people, two, to our founding documents, then you're going to get what we have now. And it's been a disaster for America. So then that's my idea is we need to have an American workers union, that would replace all these other unions. And so I was talking about earlier, when I was a kid and I was dropped off at the public school at 5 years old, understand now you're dealing with a union, right? You're 5 years old and now you're encountering this union thing that's run by these secret societies connected to the Vatican. Because when I went to the Scottish Rite and I looked at I'm not a Freemason, but when I looked through their forms, it says you have to support public education, right? So you have these secret societies involved in these unions, and then you've got a 5-year-old and he's got to deal with this. Like, this is what has been screwing with America the whole time, is these unions, and they're run through these secret societies connected to the Vatican. And so we need to have an American workers union for the American people. And so anyway, when I was looking for a thumbnail to put on my video, the only one I could find was like German. And the problem is because all the American ones were tied to these international unions, which all go back to the Pope. And all the ones in the Soviet Union were all tied to these whatever, right? Just not good enough. We need one that's purely American. But the closest thing I could find was a German National Socialist one. I think I might change my thumbnail to something with like a Confederate flag or something. It was the unions that took down all the Confederate statues all across America, but also here in California. We had a Confederate monument in Santa Ana that they took down, that the city of Santa Ana took down because it was white supremacy, and that's why they got rid of. It used to be called what was the guy that airport, Orange County Airport? Who's that Western guy? I can't remember his name, right? Orange County. I'm just looking at Orange County Airport. What's his name? John Wayne, right? Used to be called John Wayne, and then they took down the John Wayne, and because John Wayne was white, and that's racist. They took down John Sutter too. Yeah. I don't know who John Sutter is, but that's what they're doing. And the thing is, so this is the thing a lot of my friends can't see on Facebook yet. And this is the thing that I'm trying to understand or get people to understand. I've got a lot of friends that are Roman Catholic, and I don't have any problem at all with the Roman Catholic tradition or their philosophy or any of that. That doesn't bother me. I like old churches. I like the art. I like the architecture. It's beautiful. Sutter's Mill, the gold rush. Oh, okay. Was that out here in California? I need to look that up. I like gold. I want to start gold panning. If I could just quit working and just go live in the 1849. Okay, I'm going to look that up. So they took that down. This is the thing you have to understand. Look at how they keep eradicating history, right? And everybody's like, why do they did? It's kind of like what they did under communism too. It's so similar. This whole universal oneness thing, we're all one. This is all like communism. The Roman Catholic Church does this. They keep eradicating your history and go, well, none of that matters. Like Nancy Pelosi was like, I don't care about the statues of American, founders. She's Roman Catholic. She's Roman. My problem with the Roman Catholic Church is not what they believe, what the Catholic people that practice Christianity believe. That has nothing. It doesn't bother me. It's just their whole thing is just like the Eastern Orthodox stuff. The problem is it's the Vatican is a business. It's a commercial operation, and they have a political agenda, which has to do with destroying your race, destroying your culture, destroying your traditions, destroying your history, taking down all your monuments, bringing in millions and millions and millions and millions of foreign populations to replace you and kill you and take the jobs, so that it keeps the Roman Catholic Church in power. And it keeps the money just rolling in. It's a commercial operation, and if you want to fight it, you have to take out their unions. And if you just attack their unions without replacing it with another union, then all the white folks, all the American folks, can be like, They're going after their unions. They're going to try and take my jobs. No, your jobs are you're going to get wrecked by them eventually. Even if right now you're doing okay, eventually, like you look at Minnesota, right? Well, that Minnesota's run by Roman Catholic Tim Waltz and the whole union system, right? The SEIU, and they're bringing in over all these people from Somalia to replace you and kill you. And if you're white and you're still working there, you're like, well, I'm still getting a paycheck and everything's still going okay. It's going okay for now, but the long-term plan is to cleanse you from Minnesota, to eradicate you. So these people, because they need to pay their bills, they need to buy groceries. They can only see like, well, I'm doing fine. Okay, well, that's not good enough. I'm doing fine is not good enough. So then, anyway, I guess I'm going to wrap this up. I think you guys get the picture. But they just had these ICE raids in Los Angeles, and they're being protested by the SEIU, which is a workers' union in America that's supposed to look out for who? American workers by bringing in foreigners. Oh, and the Abrego, Kilmar Abrego thing, Garcia, right? He's working for a union. He's working for, let me just show you. He's working for, so Abrego Garcia is working for the union over in Maryland. Abrego Garcia Union member, right? What union is it? Oh, it's the SMART. It's called the Steel, what is it? Sheet Metal and Air and Rail Transfer Union, right? He works for the union. He's involved in trafficking. He's involved in human trafficking, illegal aliens, and drugs, and all kinds of stuff for this MS-13, right? This is the Roman Catholic Church. This is the Roman Catholic Church. This is why I'm telling you, I thought it was Daniel Huerta. Well, so Daniel Huerta, he's SEIU. He's the guy in Los Angeles that was just arrested, I guess, yesterday. So you're right. And then, the Abrego Garcia, the guy they sent to El Salvador and then they had to bring him back, he works for a union called the SMART up in Maryland. So that's another union. And he's involved in all this trafficking and he's protected by the union. It's the union. That's what I'm saying. These unions are running Maryland. They're running California. They're running Minnesota. And it's all connected to the Catholic Church. It's all connected to the Catholic Church because it's a commercial operation. And their goal is to they've already taken over America. Their goal is, that's what they've been doing this whole time, to take over America and replace it with the Roman Catholic Church. And this is what it's like. When you go, what would life be like under the Roman Catholic Church? Drive through Los Angeles. Except, imagine drive through Los Angeles and you can't have any guns. You can't have any guns. You just have to look at it and like have no way of defending yourself because the Roman Catholic, and you can't talk about it. See, in the Roman Catholic Church, it's basically Los Angeles with no guns and shut the fuck up. You can't talk. Sorry for the F. I know not everybody wants to hear that. You're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to talk, and you're not allowed to have a gun. You just need to experience the filth. All of like Los Angeles, all the filth and all the when you walk through the parks and there's just drug addiction and see this is the Roman Catholic system. They're the ones that made it like this. No one else did. It wasn't like this before. Anyway, thank you for listening. And I think we need to actually do some of these things, whether it's my ideas or somebody else's ideas. This has to be fixed. So I think we should all work towards fixing it. And thanks for watching. Have a nice Saturday. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.